Hi everyone, in this video we are going to look at Stila's brand new Suede Shade liquid eyeshadows. These are in the same family as their other liquid eyeshadows, like the Glitter and Glow liquid eyeshadows, the Shade Mystery liquid eyeshadows, and the White Lies liquid eyeshadows. If you want to see any of those videos, I have done videos for pretty much every incarnation of this liquid eyeshadow. And now we have a new formula, which is the Suede Shade liquid eyeshadow. So if you want to see all 8 shades swatched and also some of the shades applied to the lid, then this is the video for you. Stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel by hitting that subscribe button. Follow Allura Beauty on Instagram. The username will be in the description box below. You have just a little bit of time left to enter the giveaway from last month's What's New in Beauty video for a professional curling iron or flat iron. So make sure you go check out June's What's New in Beauty video if you're interested in that. And as always, I will link the latest video that we have up if you forgot to check that one out too. All right, let's get looking at these new liquid eyeshadows. So these are available through Stila's website. You can also purchase them through Sephora or Ulta. I'll put a link in the description box below to where you can easily find them for purchase. And of course a link to Ebates so that if you do any online shopping, you can automatically get cash back on your order. Each shade will retail for $24. Stila's description of these says, velvety matte but never flat, subtle iridescent pearls add a hidden lift to the formula's matte finish without adding shine. And I find that very interesting. I am very curious to see how that looks. Going back to the description, it says, the effect is a mega impactful matte finish that wears beautifully alone or paired with Stila's other shimmer or glitter eyeshadows. The long-wearing, pigment-packed color glides on smooth with a lightweight, refreshing feel. When it comes to the packaging, it's just like the other liquid eyeshadows in Stila's line. They are in squared or rectangular plastic tubes. The handles for these are gold colored, and it is a doe foot applicator that is pinched. The first shade here is Sassy. This shade is Enchanted Earth. Look at how the doe foot applicator came out of the tube. I have no idea how that happened, but we'll work with what we got. Next up is Nude Awakening, followed by Violet Velvet, Midnight Espresso, Smoky Silk, Bust a Mauve, and Something Blue. Sassy is a nude pink. Enchanted Earth is an olive green. Nude Awakening is a bone shade. Violet Velvet is a light violet mauve. I don't know that I see any mauve in here. Midnight Espresso is described as a warm brown. I also don't know how warm I think this is, and if anything, I think it's more neutral. Smoky Silk is a light gray. It's a pretty smoky gray tone. Bust a Mauve is described as a deep mauve. And Something Blue is described as a sky blue. I think I would call this more like a periwinkle blue. Alright, so there are the 8 shades right after application to show you the initial texture and opacity. I'm going to let these dry down for a few minutes and come back and check in with you. Alright, so it's been about 3 minutes letting these dry down, and let's take a close-up look. I wonder if you can tell, especially with some of these shades, that very subtle iridescence that they do have in them. It's not apparent in a few of the matte shades. A few of them look just completely matte, but like that periwinkle blue color, that purple shade in the middle, the first shade, and a couple of others, if you look close, you can see that iridescence. Now, of course, it's not going to come across on the lid, but I would agree with the description that it adds a bit of anti-flatness, so to speak, to have that little bit of iridescence that you can't overtly see, but that just gives it a slightly different quality. The other thing I would say though is that you can see that a couple of the shades don't seem to have applied or dried down quite evenly. That second to last shade, described as a deep mauve, although I feel like it's dried to a pretty much brown, slightly warm toned brown. And then the middle kind of violet shade there also shows a little bit of patchiness. Again, once it's on the lid, that probably won't really come through, but that's just what I'm seeing on the swatches. All right, now let's do a swipe test to see how smudge resistant these are. I'm just gonna drag my finger across. Okay, that's pretty good. We did get a little bit of smearing on the colors, but it's not a lot. So these definitely should be resistant to smudging or moving. So I wouldn't expect that they would just immediately move around on the lids. And of course, if you're rubbing your eyelids, then yes, they probably will smear, smudge, or fade. But this is a fairly good indication of them being smudge resistant. Let's see if water adds anything. So I just spritzed with a little bit of mixing medium, which is basically glycerin and water. Let's see if that changes anything. Well, they still hold up pretty well, even underwater. So again, I'm not going to say waterproof, but definitely water resistant. So as you can see in this video, the first thing I did was to lay down Nude Awakening, which is exactly my skin color. I was kind of impressed how dead on it was. And so it acted mostly like the way a blanked out concealer would look if you put that all over your lids before you applied other shadows. And that's basically how I used it. And then into the crease, I used Midnight Espresso. I switched to using from one brush to one of my Ray Morris brushes, the one that I love for cream application in the crease. But the thing is I am not suggesting that you use cream eyeshadows this way or liquid eyeshadows this way. In fact, it is best if you use a powder or even a cream like stick eyeshadow for this purpose. Liquid eyeshadows almost always have a difficult time being smooth through the crease, but I just wanted to try it to see if it was manageable or workable in this way. And it does work if you are willing to take the time to do it, and if you have a high quality brush that can work with liquid eyeshadows in this manner. So not the best, most even application, but it is manageable if you wanted to try to work with it in the crease. And then funny enough, I ended up putting Enchanted Earth on the lid, and the fact that the doe foot was bent in that way made application super simple because it allowed me to get over the lashes without some awkward application. And this also applied really nicely. I was able to manipulate it enough to kind of blend into the crease with my finger, and then otherwise dab it and layer it on the lid to build up the opacity and the finish. So there are my thoughts on Stila's new Suede Shade liquid eyeshadows. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Is there a shade that you liked in particular when I swatched? Is this a kind of formula and finish that you have been waiting for them to come out, and what do you think of that? Or any other thoughts that you have? I hope this was helpful to you if you were eyeing any of these and were wondering what colors would best suit you. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you in the next one.